Hi, third graders. We are going to work on time before and after an hour. I want you to look right now on my clock. This big glare. This time on the clock is 12:45. Right? We're between the 1 and the 2 or the 12 and the 1 o'clock hour. It's not quite 1 yet, right? That hour hand has not made it around there. But my minute hand is at 45 minutes. So when we talk about time, we can say time after the hour. We can also say time before. And when we do that, we're talking about before the next hour. So remember, there are 60 minutes in an hour, right? So if we start at the top, we've gone 45 minutes, right? But there are 60 of them altogether. So we still have minutes to go until the next hour. So we're going to work in our math workbook. We're going to be on page 269. 269. This is lesson 8. And we're going to work on time after the hour first and then time before. So I'll explain that when we start to work. And we're going to do a little bit on this page and then a little bit on the page behind. Okay, but remember, we can talk about time as being before the next hour or after the current hour. Okay, and we're going to use some abbreviations when we're working on this page, just because we don't have a lot of room to do some writing. Okay, so if we look at that first clock, we just realized, right, this is what I put on my Andy clock here, that the time is 12:45. So we're going to write that time down up here in the corner so we know what time it is. Right, that means it's 45 minutes after this hour. So we're going to write that down. 45 minutes, and I'm going to abbreviate minutes, after 12, right? Or 12 o'clock, really. Okay, so 45 minutes after 12. Now, I still have all this time to go until the next hour. So I'm going to count the rest of my minutes. I've got 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 more minutes to go until the next hour. So I'm going to write down 15 minutes before. And I want you to think, what's the next hour? What's the hour that comes after 12 o'clock? Is it 13 o'clock? No, we don't have that on our clock, right? It would be 1 o'clock. So we're going to write 1 o'clock. I want you to write 12 o'clock here too. I changed my mind. Okay, so 45 minutes after 12 o'clock and 15 minutes before 1 o'clock. Now, if you counted correctly, these minutes should total up 60 because there are 60 minutes in 1 hour. So let's draw a line and let's add those together. 5 and 5 is 10. I made a new 10. When I add my 10s together, I have 4, 5, and 6. So that now I know I have 60 minutes, right? I kind of checked myself. I want to make sure my hours are correct. It's after 12, but before 1 o'clock. Okay, this is important that you can remember that the minutes should total 60. Now let's hop over here to number 3. If I look at that clock, I look at my hour hand, that's the shorter one and the thicker one, right? It's hitting about right there. So it's after 5, but it's not quite 6. So it's something after 5 o'clock, right? If I look at my minute hand, I know that 30 minutes is down here, 35, 40. So 40 minutes after 5 would be 5:40. So we're going to write 40 minutes after 5 o'clock. Okay, but remember, I still have minutes to go until the next hour. So what's left, right, for the rest of my hour? I've got from 40, I'm going to go 45. So there's 5, 10, 15, and 20. We have 20 minutes to go until the next hour. And sometimes we say until instead of using the word before. So 20 minutes until, what would be the next hour? What comes after 5 o'clock? It'd be 6 o'clock. Right? So we're going to double check our hours. It's between 5 and 6. And we're going to add up our minutes to make sure we have 60 altogether. 0 plus 0, 60 minutes. Okay, we're going to try one more. Let's look at number 5. You first want to identify what time it is on the clock. So I have to find my hour hand. It's my shorter one. And when I look, it's still in between the 1 and the 2, right? So it's after 1 o'clock, but it's not quite 2 o'clock. So how many minutes after 1 o'clock? Well, I look at my minute hand, right? It's gone almost all the way around the clock. If I were to start and count 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55 minutes have gone by. 55 minutes have passed since 1 o'clock. So my time would be 1:55. 55 minutes after 1 o'clock. But remember, I still have a little bit of time to go before it's the next hour. How many minutes do I have to go? There's a big chunk right there, a big hop of 5. So I have 5 minutes before or until, what's the next hour on a clock? 2 o'clock. Okay, so now we need to add. I didn't do a very good job lining these up, did I? I'll get my eraser and fix that, because I should have, right, my ones stacked together. 5 plus 5 is 10, so I have a new 10 above. And now I check and I have 60, so I know that I've had 1 full hour that's gone by. 60 minutes altogether. Okay, we're going to flip on the back to page 270, and we're going to do the same thing, except I want you to be looking at these clocks, because these clocks are telling time before and after using 1 minute chunks, so 1 minute hops. So these are going to be in between on those little tiny tick marks. I'll use my anti-clock to help so we can see a little bit better. Okay, and we'll do 3 of them back here. And let's try number 11. Let's look at that. Identify the time first. Okay, I can see that my hour hand, it's the shorter one, is right here. So it's in between, right? So when I make this time on my clock, I'm going to go back to that 1 o'clock time, because it's not quite 2. And then I'm going to make my minutes go all the way around my clock. It's kind of hard to see. That's why I want to make it on my anti-clock a little bit better for you, so that you can see it. Okay? So move that around and I'm going to match it up. Should look like that. Okay, I'll zoom in as well. Let's identify, what time is this on the clock? It's not quite 2, so we know it's still 1 something. And how many minutes? Here's my 50 minutes. And there's one more, 51, 52. So the time is 1:52. And I write that right up there. So it's not any different than the previous page. We know that it's 52 minutes past 1 o'clock. We still have time until the next hour. How many more minutes are we going to have to go to get to the next hour? Let's look and see. I'm at 52 right now, right? How many more minutes? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 minutes until it's the next hour, right? And now it's 2 o'clock. So 8 minutes before or until 2 o'clock. Okay, we've got to double check ourselves. Let's add our minutes together and cross our fingers that it equals 60. 2 plus 8. Start with the 8 and keep going. 9, 10. There's my 60 minutes. The hardest part on this page is just that the clocks are so tiny. Okay, let's try. Let's look at number 14. Look where my hour hand is. So I know it's still 3 something. I have to figure out my minutes. Okay, this is also the time you won't have the anti-clock, right? You can take a piece of paper or a sticky note, right? And you can put it right next to that minute hand. Kind of connect that to that tick mark on the clock. So I can see it's right about there. It looks like it's about 1 more minute before it's kind of pointing at the 10. So if I know this is 45 minutes, and there are 4 more to go, 46, 47, 48, 49, $3:49. So 49 minutes after or past 3 o'clock. But how many more minutes would I have to go to get to the next hour? Let me make 3:49 on my anti-clock. There it is. 3:49. It's almost 4 o'clock, but how many more minutes until we get to 4 o'clock? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 minutes until I get to 4 o'clock. So 11 minutes before 4 o'clock. Okay, add our minutes together. 9 and 1 makes a 10. 4, 5, 6. We know we have 60 minutes, so we've done it right. Let me go back and show you 3:59 again. Okay, instead of counting by ones to go this way, I could go to the top of my clock and I can hop by 5, 10, and there's one more, would be 11. So that might be a quicker way instead of counting all these little tick marks. Okay, so that's a little tip. So when we are talking about time, we can refer to it as time before an hour or time after an hour. Okay, you do not need to take a picture of this page or any of the pages in your workbook. Your assignment today is posted in Google Classroom. That's what I want you to complete, but I don't need a picture of your math journal. All right, take your time and remember this little tip about adding your minutes together.